Hello, my name is David Lumberman, and today we're going to be looking at the Staples website. Now, the product we're looking at today are Post-it notes. When you do a search for Post-it notes, we're seeing that there's 479 items. Now, this produces a very specific use case of taking a group of items and being able to segment these items into digestible chunks. One of the ways you do that is with something called faceted search. So as we're reviewing these 474 items, we can see there are many ways to slice and dice the information so that we can get the most out of the view that we're seeing and pick the products that are most appropriate to what we're looking for. One of the ways that I could traverse this information is by simply viewing the various pages, and you see that on the bottom and on the top you can choose between 1 and 10 pages here of the total of 18 pages to review each individual item. So as I go from page 1 to page 2, you see I have additional items. Now this is a generic search. Right now it's set for best matches. Now another way of viewing these items is through a grid view. One of the other options that you have here is to use a limiting search, being able to choose between prices, names, and top ratings. By selecting one of these, it lets me sort by those items. Now, depending on what I'm looking for, this might not be the results that I expect. Another way to slice and dice the information is to use a faceted search. A faceted search is a search that breaks it down into individual items based on the keywords. The type of keywords that we see on the Staples site are things like department, color family, adhesive, post-it size, brand, environmental, and you can also view by rating and price. These are all different facets, but we're going to concentrate specifically on the color facet. Now, if I were to select one of the larger ones of blue, what it's going to do is going to repaint the screen using only that facet, regardless of the list view or grid view that I'm looking at. So now you can see I only have blue Post-it notes. But say I wasn't sure about whether I wanted blue ones or multicolor ones, I can select multiple facets. In this case, by selecting both multicolor and blue, I get a total of 47 items. The 36 items within multicolor and the 11 items within blue. This allows me to make better decisions based on the over 400 items that I was presented with initially. Another interesting feature about the Staples website is it lets me compare different items. So if I were to select multiple items, like this first item here, it's going to take a representation of that item and it's going to put it within the Compare Items section. Now in this little section, it's giving me a lot of information in a very small area. It's showing me that the items that I've chosen, and in this case I've only chosen one item currently. I'm going to select couple of more items to review, and then as I do that, all 3 of the available boxes you see have been filled in. Now this little area gives me a lot of information. Not only does it tell me the items that I've selected with little pictures and let me click on it to see an expanded view, but it tells me I can only select 3 items. So by clicking on Compare Items, it's going to let me see all of the information specific to those items as I scroll down. Now even this provides a lot of information. Not only do I have the photos above and a little piece of information and reviews, it lets me add things directly to my cart right from this interface. Now if this is too much information, you can always click on Highlight Differences. It'll pick out the specific lines that are the same and highlight them in the interface. So it shows here under Post-it Note colors, I have assorted, other, and more assorted. Whereas things like adhesive filter, since they're all standard, it's grayed out. Now some of the things that are interesting about this interface is while it's trying to give you a whole bunch of information, it does break some of the general rules. Now when I first clicked on Compare Items, you notice that Compare Items does not have any of the standard affordances. Like I don't know that it's clickable. Now I can assume that it's clickable based on the fact that list view and grid view are both clickable. But in a complicated interface like this, I'd much rather see something underlined. Another one of the rules that it seems to break is it pushes a lot of the items down below the fold. The fold is this area right here before I have to start scrolling. Once I start scrolling, I see a lot more information. What I'd much rather see in an interface such as this, as the imagery above here would be much smaller or non-existent or be able to come in collapsed, because I've selected specific things, which is great, but it's not going to let me select additional things, so this becomes irrelevant information. Telling me below that this is the area that I'm going to compare, that these are the items that I've selected to compare, really doesn't give me any more information, whereas just by scrolling another half an inch to an inch down, it shows me just how much more information is below. So I'd much rather see more of the interface below, like I have scrolled to here, than what I'm seeing currently. So another thing I can do right from this widget here is add things to cart. And this is something that I like about the interface, that I can then select specific items and add it to the cart. And then I can close this and I'm back in my interface. Now, unfortunately, as I'm looking at this, I can't tell the current state of the items that I've chosen. While one is still selected here, I've already added it to my cart. So there is no difference between choosing this one here, when in reality, at this point, I've added one of these items to my cart and these two have not been added. So I'd much rather see it that these fields here would then get cleared once it's been added to my cart. But this is a minor difference. Being able to see the specific items that are in my cart and know that there are items in my cart should reduce the abandonment of carts. Most of the carts on the internet will get filled up but never get acted on. One of the greatest barriers to entry for shopping carts is shipping costs. So what Staples has done here is I only need to spend another $23 to get free shipping, or I can pick it up directly in the store. Now this is a missed opportunity that I see here, that I'd much rather it say pick up in-store items ready in 2 hours and pay no shipping. This would lead people to actually go to the stores and to pick up their items there. Thank you for taking the time to review this video. If you'd like to see other videos on the same topic, please check out our YouTube site. And if you'd like me to review your website, just visit me at lumberman.com/user experiences or shoot me an email at dave@lumberman.com.